keep it going with earnings. Then IndusInd Bank's second quarter numbers were an overall miss. Net income was down 39% on a year-on-year basis, and non-performing assets as well deteriorated marginally, at least on a sequential basis. Gaurav is standing by with more on the earnings fine print there. Gaurav?
A very weak set of numbers is what we are seeing from IndusInd Bank in this quarter. When we talk about net interest margins, that have deteriorated almost by 17 basis points. And when we talk about net profitability, that has gone down almost by 39%. So first, let's look at the numbers and how it looks. First, let's talk about net interest income. That has gone down almost by 1% on a sequential basis. What they say is that there was a slowdown in growth in unsecured book. That is the reason why we saw net interest income going down. And that is the same reason why we saw net interest margins going down partially. Other than that, when we talk about PPOP, we saw a fall of around 8%. Now what they're saying is that the cost or income ratio remains elevated and looks elevated because of the lower profitability that we have seen in this quarter. But overall, when you look at the PPOP, the same flow has been there as well. When we talk about net profit, that has gone down almost by 40%, and the main reason being the credit quality. What happened in this quarter is that the MFI segment, which is microfinance segment, is seeing a sharp rise in stress, and that is the reason why we saw provisions going up. Let's not forget that bank made a provision, additional contingent provision of around 500 crore rupees towards this book, but overall, even if we exclude that, the credit cost has come to 1.5%, which is higher than what the street was expecting. Other than that, when we talk about slippages, there also we saw a sharp uptick, and that is the reason why we saw this sharp fall in the profitability of the business. When we talk about ROA also, that has gone down to 0.99%, which is at the lowest level since March 2021. Other than that, when we talk about management commentary, what they have said that in terms of advances growth, we may not see the 18 to 20% growth in this year that we have seen for the bank for the last few quarters. On the MFI segment, what they're saying is that there is stress which is building up throughout the industry, but they are being a little bullish on MFI segment. They see that after Q3, we may see some recoveries and we may see the positive outlook coming up on MFI segment. But overall, what another concern is that when we talk about the SMA book, there also we have seen an increase in 30 to 90 days pool. Now, what happens is that around 60 to 70% of this pool goes to the NPA segment, and that is the reason why there are some concerns rising there as well. When we talk about brokerages now, they are also being a little bearish on the stock. What we saw is that when we talk about Investec, they have maintained their hold rating but cut the target price to 1410 rupees. When we talk about IIFL, they have cut the target price sharply to 1300 rupees versus what it was at 1590 rupees. When we talk about Nuvama, there also we have seen a target price cut. They have cut the target price to 1290 rupees. And lastly, when it comes to Nomura, they have also cut the target price to 1220 rupees. So overall, a very pessimistic view coming up on IndusInd Bank. Numbers were also very weaker than what the street was expecting. On the back of this, when we talk about management commentary, although it seemed a little positive, but overall a weak set of number is what we have seen from IndusInd Bank in second quarter.
Right, so weak set of numbers, brokerages cut the target, and of course, the kind of bullish comment they've made on MFI segment, I don't think so that's big enough. But then let's see how much pressure it will create on the stock today. Stock was sliding from last 2-3 days, what we've noticed. Thanks very much, Gaurav, for all that detail. But then let's get you across Sumant Katpalia, who's the MD and CEO of IndusInd Bank. We did caught up, to gather a reaction on the numbers, what he has to say. The commentary, of course, is not very bullish. Let's go across.
MFI business will only have a recovery of 7 to 15% depending on the early. So early stages will have about 15 to 20%. 1 year older cases will have about 5 to 7%. This quarter is very critical. I think we have to wait and watch and see how the disbursements pick up this quarter. This is a festival season. Always these 2 quarters have been very good quarters for MFI historically. Now, given the stress which has appeared in this segment, we have to wait and watch and see how the MFI segment plays out, given that four NBFCs have been banned from doing this business or are not adding new customers into this. So we have to wait and watch. We are cautiously optimistic on the microfinance. We like this business. We believe that this business has turned around.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits. And then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.